Welcome into the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner, and today we're going to talk about Kentucky basketball from a fan's perspective. This episode, we're going to be talking about Kentucky went 1-1 in the SEC tournament. This is actually our first time talking since we were talking about who Kentucky could potentially play in their very first game of the SEC tournament. That ended up being Oklahoma, and Kentucky ended up winning that game by a last-second shot by Otega. And that score ended up being 85-84. Kentucky had a 10-point lead with around a minute left in that game and ended up blowing it a little bit, missing a few free throws down the stretch, but got saved by Otega last-second shot to put Kentucky up by 1. And in this game, Otega, like I was saying, was the big performer. He had 27 points with 4 boards, 5 assists. He played 36 minutes. Was 8 for 14 from the field and really just did a little bit of everything for Kentucky in this game. Kentucky, from their bench, got 17 bench points. It's a little bit better than usual, but I'd like to see a little bit more. Kobe Brea had a big game. He had 22 points in 37 minutes. Was 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. He had 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Butler left with an injury earlier in this game. You really saw the difference defensively, especially on Oklahoma's star guard. Jeremiah Fears had a big game, scoring 28 points. He had 4 rebounds and 5 assists. He played 34 minutes and actually hit the layup to put Oklahoma up 1 before Otega had his big shot. Andrew Carr had a pretty complete game, having 11 and 7. Not the most efficient in the world. He had 1 3 to really start the game, and he went 0 for 4 after that. But Kentucky, like I said, when Lamont Butler was on the floor, there was a big difference. Kentucky went on an 8-0 run to start the game, and then Oklahoma kind of went on its own run, and then Lamont Butler went out with his injury and never ended up returning. He ended up missing the next game against Alabama also, but we got really good news saying that it was mainly precautionary. If this was like a championship game or like an NCAA tournament game, he would play, but they were just trying to make sure he's healthy, and it wasn't the same injury as his original shoulder injury, so that's also a really good sign. Kentucky, it shows that we have some of that clutch gene with Otega, and I really like how he ended that against his old team, hitting his second game winner. And also with Oklahoma, Moore had a good game, not as good as he did last time these two teams played, but he had 12 points, he had 2 threes, one of them was really big. He had 7 boards, he was 5 for 14 from the floor. He played 30 minutes for the Sooners. Kobe Elvis had a really big game. He had 12 points. He actually played with Kobe Brea last year at Dayton, so those two know each other pretty well. Kentucky did not have its best shooting performance, especially after the first 5 or 6 minutes, shooting 8 for 24 from 3 at 33, but shot it really well from the field, shooting almost 52%, actually making 1 less 3 than Oklahoma, attempting 2 less field goals but making 1 more. Kentucky was okay from the free throw line, shooting 15 to 22, 68%. Would like to see that more around 75 number, but still okay. Did a really good job on the glass also, having 36 to 28 rebounding advantage. That was really good for the Wildcats. Colin Chandler came in and gave us some good energy. He was not efficient at all on the offensive end, being 1 for 7 from the field and 1 for 4 from 3. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Came in, played 22 minutes. Brandon Garrison was okay. He played 20 minutes, was 2 for 4 from the field, 3 boards, and he had 5 points. Trent Noah came in and gave us 6 boards. Other than Andrew Carr, he led the team in rebounds. He only played 14 minutes compared to Carr's 28. He had 4 points, was 2 for 3 from the field. And Amari Williams, the lone starter, I haven't talked about. He played 20 minutes, was 3 for 5 from the field, had 7 points. We leaned a little bit more on Brandon Garrison this game than Amari, but overall, both guys I thought had okay performances, and Garrison just went on several runs with his group, was part of the reason he had more minutes than he usually does. And then on Friday, because Kentucky won, they drawed Alabama, who had the bye coming into this game, and so they hadn't played at all this week. Kentucky was without Lamont Butler, in this game. Kentucky ended up getting beat by 29 in this game, scoring 70 points, was only down 7 at halftime, got outscored by 22 in the second half. Overall, I thought just kind of ran out of gas defensively, couldn't stop them either half, giving up 45 points in the first half, but they just stopped making shots. Also, being 5 for 19 from 3 at 26%, and missing a lot of shots at the basket, being at 37%. And also Alabama in the first half, what they were really effective at was getting to the rim. They had 46 points in the paint, and Labyrinth Phillum, 6'4" freshman guard for Alabama, really played well. He had 21 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He played 26 minutes. He was 8 for 14 from the field. Not a great shooter, only 1 for 4. We were able to keep Mark Sears somewhat in check. He played 30 minutes, only scoring 13 points, 5 for 17, 1 for 8. We were able to keep him, Youngblood, our 2 other 3 main shooters in check, with Youngblood being 2 for 5 and Sears being 1 for 8. Holloway is our other really good shooter. He went 2 for 4 from 3. He ended up with 13 points. So overall, I thought not a bad job on those shooters. Just the driving. Then when the other guys started making shots, it really hurt us. Stevenson, the 6'11" forward, who had 16 points in this game. He went 3 for 5 from 3. Not a traditionally knockdown shooter, shooting around 33% from 3. Really played well, had 16 points, and really lifted up this Alabama team, especially from behind the arc, where they made 11 threes to Kentucky's 5. And also turnovers were a big differential, where Kentucky had 16 to Alabama's 10, and a lot of those were live ball turnovers, so transition points. We really gave a lot of those up. And Kentucky in the rebounding battle also lost that, 34-41. Kentucky lost the assist battle also, 17-12. So really when you look at the box score, Kentucky lost most everything. And coming in this game, you really need to have a perfect performance against a really talented Alabama team without Lamont Butler and Jackson Robinson for this game. And you really got dominated in pretty much every category. Really one of the only things that kept you in this game was some of the foul trouble for Alabama. Really physical game. Otega had a busted lip. He had to go get stitches. He was out of the game for about 6 minutes. And it was really tough having him and Butler out. So that's a lot of your perimeter defense. Having to have Colin Chandler play some really extended minutes. Travis Perry playing 30 minutes. It's just really tough defensively when you're not making shots offensively. And also I was talking about the foul trouble. Nelson had 4 fouls. Omari had 4. So they only combined for 16 points combined with those 2. And they had 11 combined rebounds. So that's not bad for 2 of their best players, keeping them under their season averages. And Mark Sears just wasn't the same. And the turnovers and the fast break points, like I was saying, got away from us. The paint points and the 3-point shooting are, to me, the 3 big things that Kentucky really struggled with in this game. And part of the reason they really got blown out is those 3 things, allowing easy opportunities to elite offense. So, and Otega coming after that big performance against his old team did not play well. He only had 8 points with 4 rebounds, was 1 for 6 from the field, was 6 for 8 from the free throw line, but overall had 5 turnovers to no assists, so that efficiency is not great to see. And now for Kentucky, it's just kind of a reset period for the Wildcats, coming off of kind of a 1-1 stretch. I feel confident that a guy like Otega that I've seen all year reset in his next game is usually really strong after a bad performance. And for this Kentucky team, I was thinking about this. For the NCAA tournament, I like how they're built going into that, especially if we have Lamont Butler, because we're projected right now to have a 3 seed. Kentucky's probably going to have a lesser opponent they're going to play who's not as athletic as some of the teams they played, so they're used to not having the advantage athletically. And this Kentucky team's very big They're even bigger than most SEC teams. Not the most athletic, but usually bigger. So that size advantage combined with their elite knockdown shooting ability with Kobe Bray on the wing and some of these other guys that can really knock down shots. And also going into that second game of the weekend, whichever day you play in the NCAA tournament, that'd be around a 32. I really like how this team's built because they're very hard to scout against because you have so many different options. And how this team plays is kind of a unique style. And there's a lot of different outcomes and options and sets that they can play and use. That's one thing that I really like about this team going into March and March Madness and the NCAA tournament to really make a run. My name is Seth Warner. If you like this content, please go look us at questnumber9.com. I write sports articles there for if you want to see more information about this kind of stuff. And also go follow me at questnumber9 on Instagram. And also go follow me at questnumber9 on Twitter, aka X. And I will see you next time.